Oh, pests. What's going on? What's going on, Bailey? So, it's Saturday morning. Carrie's all set to go. The dogs are off to the kennels because we are heading to London to go and do a really cool editorial. It should be a fun weekend. Other than the fact it's just started raining.
It's never too late to change your life. The story's not over. The ending is mine. Whatever it takes to see you smile.
You going in? You going in? Go, Bailey. You little rebel. Girls, you know, you look cute, but in close proximity, stink. Ugh. Bailey. Box. Where are we? Wait. 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 Go. Jesus. It's going down, Bailey. It's going down. Come on. Bailey. So that's a little Muttley's all dropped off and done. I know it sounds noisy in that, but they have like 80 dogs in here at the moment, so it is busy. So when one starts barking, the other one will start barking. But Roxy and Bailey do love it here. They've got the small runs here, then the larger run there with all like tunnels and ramps and things like that, and they can just go mental. And they literally wear themselves out and then probably nap for the rest of the entirety until picked up. And they love it. And they always come back super happy. You know when your dogs aren't happy when they've been somewhere, and they come back out and they look like, holy shit, you are here, take me home. Here they're just like, yeah, whatever, what up? I'm going, I'm staying, cool. Had an ace time. So we're off to London this weekend and we're off to do some freelance work, which is pretty cool. So we've been hired to go and do some editorial things. We've got a lot of nice things in the pipeline to do with kind of talks, meet and greets, editorials. We're doing some cool motivational video shoots and things like that. So it's going to be a really cool year, and we're going to take you guys along for the ride, for the journey. And also I want to do some bucket list stuff this year. Like I want to skydive. I 100% want to skydive. In my head, it's not scary. When I get in the plane, I'm going to assume it's going to be a tad more realistic. But it's something I want to do, so I'm starting looking into that and looking into getting something sorted, and obviously being able to vlog and film the whole thing rather than like going somewhere where I'm not allowed to video and record or have to pay for their weird recording stuff that I won't like and won't work well, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that, and I want to do another couple of things. I want to do some track days with the bikes. I want to do motorbike meetups with you guys. General meetups with you guys. We're going to do some camps. We're going to do Q&As. We're going to be doing university talks. Loads of things in the pipeline. So super exciting. But let's start it all off by heading to London. But first, we're obviously going to get our gym session, and you didn't think we were going anywhere without training, did you? So I'm here at Coliseum, going to hit up the last superset session of the week. So I'm going to be hitting up some biceps, chest, and hamstrings. So we're going to be going through some of those exercises for you again. We're going to hit that tutorial side so you can take it, go, use, come back, hit me up, let me know if you've got any questions in the comment section below. We ordered some things from Asda, which are like these 20 gram protein little Arla shakes or something. They didn't have any. And so they sent us these carbohydrate recovery things, and that's what I thought I had with myself here right now, but it turns out, no, they actually sent us a protein drink instead, which is one of those good shakes ones. Which means now I've got no carbs for my workout, so I'm effectively going to be doing a relatively fasted workout. Let's see how the pump looks. For those of you new to the channel, those of you who don't remember or anything like that, this is high frequency training, which means everything's done twice per week. So each of these body parts has already been trained once this week. And we're doing 5 sets per exercise, 8 to 12 reps, rest 30 seconds between sets. So it's go, go, go. So we're looking at fatigue over weight here. So you're going to find out that the first weight you may be able to get like 12 to 16 reps on normally. By the time you're done with the superset, you're getting like 8. And what you need to remember is it's time under tension, consistency over time as well. That's all you need. Let's go.
What's up guys, and I apologise straight off the bat if the quality of this is a little shabby, but I'm in the hotel room and just going off the inbuilt Mac mic. But let's cover the starting points again, just in case, because people seem to be getting a little confused. It's superset training, 2 exercises per body part, 30 seconds rest, 3 body parts, and the whole session only takes between 45 minutes to an hour. It is perfect for multiple high frequency training sessions during the week that you can fit into any schedule very easily. So as I've said before, we're doing chest, hamstrings and biceps. I'm going to start with chest superset, going from an incline press into an incline dumbbell fly, and a couple of things I want to go through on this. So going from a 30 kilogram press, 12 reps, down to 20 kilos. This is probably around about 70% of my max weight that I'm using here. It felt very comfortable. What I'm concentrating on is, again, vacuum the stomach, chest nice and high, and I've got a real arch in my back and my feet planted. You'll see the arch in the back when we switch positions on the movement. But another thing to look at is the position of the dumbbell heads. We'll take a look now at the flies. So setting these, you can see that the head of the dumbbell closest to the camera, this is angled up. A lot of people have a tendency to dip this head down, especially as they come down on the negative part of the motion. That is effectively tilting the load away from the chest onto the shoulders and down onto the arms. Keeping that back head elevated slightly higher than the head closest to your own head, so many heads going on, is really going to help, number one, keep the load on the chest, to take the stress off the shoulders. You'll also notice that I have a slight outward turn as I come down the negative. Again, this is a more natural motion for the shoulders and helps alleviate any impingement issues that you might have. As I've mentioned before, I had impingement on my left shoulder, and what you'll see on my first couple of reps is the left side of mine tends to drop lower than my right, and you'll see me correct it round about the second rep straight away, so I can feel this now. I've trained myself into being able to understand how to feel that and how to see that it's wrong. If you are out of a line and out of alignment for quite a long time, that out of alignment will start to feel normal to you, and then putting yourself back in line will feel as if you're not in line. It's a really weird sensation, but it's something that you should really correct, and it's what spotting partners, training partners, people coming to watch, or even filming yourself is really useful for. Let's take a look at the body position that we're using here. So feet when planted on the floor firmly, I'm driving with an arched lower back. I've actually tensing glutes whilst doing this. There's the tilt of the head upward, as you can see on the dumbbell flies. You'll see slight rotation outward as I come down. I'm not coming down on a huge negative. A lot of people on this movement tend to think that by overextending down, they're getting a stretch, in inverted commas, on the chest. What they're actually doing is just stretching out the tendons and ligaments of the shoulders, and it is going to cause problems over time. It might not hurt you at the moment, but you keep it up day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, I promise you something will go click and then pop. It's not a good thing to be doing. It's unnecessary. There's no added benefit to it. Train smart, train safe, you'll train longer and your gains will be better, simply for the fact that you are more consistent over time. I keep saying it, I'll keep saying it over and over again. Time is your friend. You have to put it in. There are no quick routes. There's no shortcuts. Too many people want things too quickly, and that is a real important thing to understand. Everything takes time. Just stick with it. If your technique is solid, if you're consistent with it, if you maintain a progressive critical analysis of yourself, fine-tuning things as you go, you'll continue to progress. No two ways about it. Quick look at this press motion. See how the inner head of the dumbbell is slightly tilted in towards the chest. Again, that's a little thing that helps alleviate stress away from the shoulders, keeps the load on the chest, and quite a nice natural movement. Spotters, training partners, video, however you go about it, check that your form is on point and that you maintain these adjustments. What you can do is end up adjusting, putting these little pointers in, but about 3 reps in, you'll go back into autopilot. Your position will be lost and you'll go back to old bad habits. Now, if you need to reset every 2 or 3 reps during a set, that's absolutely fine. You'll see I use rest pauses like I did there. One, because the fatigue was setting in and I just wanted to take a breath, and I have a habit of counting to 3 in my head and then go, creating a positive trigger. So 1, 2, 3, go, creating positive triggers, not negative triggers. If you're sat there lying down saying I feel tired, I feel tired, I feel tired, you're gonna feel tired. So again, technique, positive triggers, critical analysis, and just time, guys. Next exercise was hamstrings, and you're going to see me do one which obviously a lot of people are familiar with, which is the seated leg curl. What I want to look at here is foot position. Look how symmetrical they are. My feet aren't twisting, aren't rotating. My toes are kept up even through the entire pulling motion. So my toes aren't flipping up and down, they're not twisting left and right. This is going to keep alignment from the feet through the knees into the hips. I'm squeezing by pulling through from the heels, and a really important factor on this as well is the slight lean forward. I know these have a seat with a back pad on them, but honestly I never use it. I set myself my hip position using that pad, but then I lean away from it. Now I supersetted this with a really weird exercise that I used to do a long time ago, and it looks really odd. It looks like you're a complete noob and in the gym pissing around, but I promise you guys this is really, really effective. The best way of thinking about this is less of an exercise and more of a loaded stretch. So you can see how I'm pulling myself in as you would do to stretch the hamstrings if you were sat on the floor, knees bent, and then I climb my way up the leg press until I feel the load on the stretch. Then what I do is extend my legs out, not locking the knees, and basically what that does is loads the stretch even further. So what I'm doing is creating load on the hamstring and then increasing that load, and by increasing that load I'm increasing the tension on the muscle, and because they're pretty exhausted from doing a full range of motion exercise like the seated leg curl, it's just a really, really effective, nice way of doing it. Now remember guys, hamstrings already been trained this week using straight leg deadlifts and lying leg curl, so for me it's just a really nice little movement I like adding in. It does take some getting used to. You need to drive through the heels, and remember it's a loaded stretch and less of a range of motion, a little bit more like isometric training. But going back to the seated leg curl with the full range of motion, you can see here how my back is not on the pad, but my hips and butt are back towards it. I'm leaning forward, and that increases negative tension. Again, everything kept in alignment, no swinging back and forth. That's really important, is trying to take the body weight out of all motions. You're trying to isolate where the tension is being loaded onto the muscles. This is basically about building your body to the way you want it to look, and there's a very, very big difference between building a body for aesthetic purposes and then powerlifting purposes or strength purposes. They're two very, very different things, and you have to connect to the weight and the movements in very different ways. So that's very important to understand. Know what your goal set is, know what your priority is, and train to those goal sets and priorities. Don't try and mishmash everything together. Make your major priority your main goal of your training and work other things around it as an accessory. Take a look at that exercise again from just another angle. You can see how I'm loading the stretch. I'm keeping the load completely through the heels here as well, guys. Not locking those knees out so the load stays on the hamstring, doesn't come onto any of the joints. It was seriously, seriously painful. I mean, my legs were overly pumping to the point of nearly cramping. Really good tool when you can get used to kind of the weirdness of the motion, and you can pull yourself up the leg press enough to create what, as if you were trying to touch your toes effectively if you were sat on the floor. That's what we're trying to recreate. Okay, anyway, moving on to biceps. Now, hammer curls onto overhand cable curls. Really cool little trick here for you guys. I've said it a couple of times, but again, look where I'm holding the dumbbell for the hammer curl. Really high up the handle, actually touching the weight on the dumbbell itself. The reason I hold it here is it creates tension through the entire movement. If I hold the dumbbell in the middle of the handle, when you get to the base of the bottom of the negative, your arm is basically resting. By holding the dumbbells like this, you're creating a constant load pulling away from the bicep, and that's going to keep tension throughout. Again, hitting around 12 reps, and I was using, I think it was 15 kilo dumbbells, so again, about 60 to 70% of my max weight, straight onto overhand cable curls. This is a great one for bringing in the forearms. Again, we're looking for chest up, arching the lower back, shoulders back, and taking out body swing. Soft knees, making sure that you're not swinging back and forth. You can see me set my shoulders here, my chest nice and high. What I'm actually doing as well is vacuuming my stomach and pulling my glutes in. What that's going to do is make me control my core throughout the entire movement. So you're helping integrate core stability, stabilization of your body, control, breathing, everything all in one. And to top it off, what I try and do, you can see just there, I tuck my chin in, and that stops what I call pigeon necking, which is where people tend to dip the head. That then brings in the traps, shifts the shoulders, starts you rounding your back off, and by removing that, you remove that bad habit. Again, if you need to reset every couple of reps whilst you're learning, that's absolutely fine. Eventually those resets will become less frequent, and eventually you won't need them at all, and your posture will change for the better. You can see that this is the final set of 5 on these, and my form is still as solid as the first set, if not a little better. At no point am I sacrificing form for my ego. I'm utilizing weights that I can control, making sure that my body is aligned, and making sure that my form is correct. I'm being progressively critical, making sure that I'm improving every single session and making sure I'm never ever moving backwards. I hope that's cleared up everything for you and you're able to go and put it into practice. If you have any further questions, just hit me up below.
little you are without any heels on.
I'm a very small person.
You're a very little person. That's like, that's the hand luggage for normal people. Well, would you look at that? We're early. Damn early. Feels weird. I don't like it. I feel like we've been here so long, people are thinking that we're train spotters.
With suitcases.
With suitcases. Train spotters and thieves. Oh look, it's the 749 from Windsor. Finally on board the train. We're going to be on here for 2 and a bit hours. And here's a handy little hint. You can see we're in first class. We didn't book the first class though. On a weekend you can upgrade for 15 quid, no matter what your ticket, to go into the first class. It's never full, so you never really need to pre-book it. If we were to book it online, it would have going to cost us an extra £70 on top of the tickets. This way, 2 of us, 30 quid. You get to sit, better seats, you get unlimited water, teas, coffee and some snacks. And the main thing though is there's not a lot of people in the cabin, so we can film. The seats are comfier, so we're not crippled by the time we get there. Just a really nice way to travel on a train if you have to do it. Bob's can only sit facing forwards.
Because I'll puke.
Blah. We're going to shoot an editorial. There's some freelance work that we are doing between myself and Lainey, and we will be working with the Mac Effect Noel. So you know it's going to be fun, and it should be a good time because it's usually really relaxed affair. We get our job done in a professional manner, but we have fun whilst we're doing it. So we will take you along for that. So apparently I can't edit on a train facing backwards because now I feel super good. Yeah, it's not good. What?
Want some popcorn?
Popcorn? You think popcorn's medication? Okay, as a kid, I used to have to literally lie down in the back of cars and just sleep. I was so bad at travelling. Apparently, throwing cheese at my head. Cheese at my head. I'm dead.
Not with the cheese. That'd be great for a photo shoot with cheese in my hair.
You could have been a Dairy Lee advert.
Why am I always looking after you? You're the man.
Look, my job is to guard you from beasties in the wilderness. Beasties wilderness are out there. Job done. Anyway, travel tips for if you feel sick, like me. Ginger biscuits can help. Ginger helps settle your stomach. 2, lie down. And this also links into 3, don't look at the horizon or things spinning past you. Most of the time, the reason you feel sick is because shit's doing this inside of your head, and your head thinks you're spinning for some reason. So it makes you feel queasy. Boob cam. Let's go.
Cause if I only had 100 fans, I'd take them all to dinner, talk about the people that we used to be. If I had 100 fans, flying all the parents, ain't nobody paying, I'd be buying the drinks. And we would party, and we would dance, and we would throw up all them hands until they turn to clouds. Yeah, I got you now. If I only had 100 fans, life's too short to be.
Hello, London. So out with Bobster, and we are at a Mediterranean restaurant just around the corner from the hotel. It came top in the reviews on Google Maps review thingamabobber, so we're giving it a go. We got everything from fish to chicken burgers, so we're good. We enjoy a nice evening and then get an early night ready for tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's Saturday. It's between these times. Bring on the jiggle jiggle. Thank you. Good? Cheers, babe. Cha-ching. That's like a thing my mom's doing.
And I'm gonna have some of this.
Thank you. Laziz. There tonight, and that's as Mediterranean, kind of Moroccan-y feel to it. Lovely staff, lovely food, hell of a portion. Heck of a portion. So now back to the hotel to get this edit uploaded, and then we'll take you along for the editorial shoot. What do we call it? Motivational thing that we're doing tomorrow? With the Mac Effect. So until then, from the Bobster, from me, boom baby.